Today, we're going to dive into a poem that is, believe it or not, just one single sentence long. But wow, does it pack a punch. We're talking about Kamala Das's My Mother at 66. It's all about aging, loss, and all those powerful feelings we can't quite put into words. So let's unpack it together.
And this question, this is really the heart of it all, isn't it? It's something pretty much all of us think about at some point, that moment when the roles start to shift with our parents. This poem takes us right into that very personal, very private headspace, and it all starts somewhere incredibly familiar.
So the whole thing kicks off in the most ordinary setting you can imagine. A car ride to the airport. A daughter driving her mother. Super simple, totally relatable. But you know, it's often in these quiet, everyday moments that the thoughts we try to keep buried just bubble up to the surface.
And for the poet, that thought doesn't just bubble up, it hits her like a ton of bricks. This is the first big turning point in the poem. A sudden, really painful realization.
This is the line that changes everything. The comparison is so stark, it's almost brutal, right? She doesn't just see a sleepy old woman. In that moment, she sees mortality itself. That word, corpse, is like a shocking wake-up call. It's the truth, right there, and she just can't ignore it anymore.
So this isn't just her noticing a few more wrinkles. It's a deep emotional blow. It's that sudden, sharp pain you feel when you realize that your parent is exactly as old as they look, frail, vulnerable, and a living reminder that time is ticking for all of us.
And how do you cope with a thought that heavy? Well, the poet's mind does something fascinating. It immediately creates this huge contrast, this tension between two completely different worlds, and that becomes the absolute core of the poem.
And here they are, those two worlds laid out side by side. Inside the car, everything is about stillness, age, and that haunting image of death. But then you look out the window, and life is just exploding everywhere. You've got trees sprinting by, happy kids spilling out of their homes. This contrast is the perfect picture of the battle going on inside her own head.
So why does she look outside? It's a totally deliberate escape. I mean, who could blame her? The reality inside that car is just too much to handle. So she turns to the vibrant, lively world outside as a distraction. Anything to push that fear away, even if it's just for a second.
So how does Kamala Das manage to make us feel all of this so intensely? Well, it's not just about the words she chooses, it's about how she puts them together. The very structure of the poem is a tool to pull us right into her train of thought.
Okay, so the first thing you need to know about this poem's structure is pretty wild. The entire thing from start to finish is just one long sentence. No periods, just commas carrying you along.
And that's absolutely on purpose. It's meant to feel like a single, non-stop stream of consciousness. Her mind is just racing, you know? It goes from looking at her mother, to the trees outside, to this old childhood fear, and finally to that painful goodbye, all in one breathless flow.
Now, to get these really complex feelings across, she uses some powerful literary devices. The first one is a classic, the simile. It's just a way of helping us see exactly what she's seeing by saying something is like or as something else.
We already talked about that shocking like a corpse line, but later she compares her mother to a late winter's moon. Just think about that for a second. What's a late winter's moon like? It's pale, it's cold, it feels like it's fading. It's the very end of a cycle, another really powerful symbol of aging and decline.
All right, the next tool in her kit is personification. This is key to setting up that whole inside versus outside contrast we were just talking about.
I mean, trees don't actually sprint, right? Of course not. But by giving them this energetic human action, she makes the outside world feel bursting with life and speed. And all that energy just makes the quiet, still figure of her mother in the car seem that much more fragile and sad.
So all these feelings, the fear, the memories, the hard-to-look-at observations, it's all building and building towards the poem's climax, which happens right at the airport security check, the moment they have to say goodbye.
The poem ends on this one haunting image, a smile. Repeat it 3 times, but you just know this isn't a happy smile. It's a performance. It's a mask she's putting on to cover up everything she's feeling inside.
So what's really going on behind that smile? Well, it's doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's a shield to hide her own terror of losing her mom. It's her trying to be strong to tell her mother, "It's okay, don't worry." But deep down, it's a sign of total helplessness against that old familiar ache,
that fear of being separated from her mom that she felt as a kid, which is now back with a whole new, devastating weight.
And that, right there, is what makes this poem so incredibly powerful. Because even though it's one person's very specific story, the feelings she's describing are completely universal.
The poem is such a powerful reminder that time just doesn't stop. It perfectly captures that unique kind of pain you feel when you see your parents, who you always thought were invincible, become fragile. And it shows that sometimes the biggest act of love isn't saying anything at all, but just putting on a brave face, offering a smile when words just aren't enough.
At its core, the poem takes this one daughter's incredibly personal fear and turns it into a universal truth about life and death. It's a truth that honestly connects every single one of us.
And that's really where the poem leaves us. Not with a neat little answer, but with an action, a smile that's full of unspoken feeling. It kind of puts the question back on us, for our own lives. In those moments when words just fail, when the feelings are way too big, how do we show the people we care about what's really in our hearts?